Hello everybody, Ron with Sandcar Services, and I'm going to do a little video on buyer beware. It's getting really frustrating to see this, and I'm going to say straight out, not every used 2D is going to be this, but this is what you don't want when you buy a used 2D. This transaxle is owned by a customer of mine that has a shop out of state. This is the third transaxle that he's brought me, third different transaxle that he's brought me. So he's a good repeat customer. This transaxle got put up for sale. I'm going to tell you the information I know as it was told to me. So it is secondhand information, but that's what I'm going to go off of. I believe he said he paid around $6,000 for this. And the seller said that they pulled the bell housing on it and that the gears look good. That's what I was told. When he bought it, took it home, pulled the bell housing to reseal the bell housing, he noticed this. And he decided to give me a call. Now, this transaxle, I haven't even tore it completely down and done a full cleaning and crack check. This is what I call my preliminary inspection. I can't see fourth gear yet, so we don't know what fourth gear is like, but this transaxle is trash. It's got a bad ring and pinion, obviously. If you look at, I don't even have to crack check this. I can see the cracks and the wear in the main shaft. So it's got a bad main shaft. It's got pitting on third gear, so third gear is bad. So this transaxle needs somewhere between a $5,000 and $6,000 build sheet to do it right with all brand new parts. Because you're looking at $1,600 for a ring and pinion. You're looking at $500 for a main shaft. I'm rounding numbers off right now. Idler gears are $340, $350 a piece for first and second. You're looking at $650 for a third gear stack if you have an older, this one's a two-piece already, so he's not going to have to buy a cone if he sticks with the same gear. But with the cone, about $650 for a third gear stack. We don't know what fourth looks like. He has a hairline crack in the case right here. It came with the Funko nose cone. Now, Funko, on their forward bearing, a lot of the Funkos ran a tapered roller bearing addition on the back of their forward bearing to kind of support that load. This one does not have it anymore. It's been removed and put back to a CX11, but the nut is actually loose, or the something in the shim stack broke, because I can't do this with one hand very well, but the shaft actually slides in and out. I did a video on it earlier on the input shaft, main shaft going in and out before we did the teardown, so I'll post that also. But one of the things you guys need to keep your eyes on is when you're buying a used transaxle, nobody can tell what's inside of it until you open it up. That's why I'm always joking around about the magic 3 trips. You always hear me joke, if they say that it's got 3 trips on it, walk away. Because 3 trips is the average that I see with this kind of damage. And I don't think that people are doing it deliberately, but that seems to be the number, that's the trigger point for finding bad stuff. If it's got 1 trip on it, it's still considered a used transaxle, and you don't know how they drove it or what damage is on the inside of it, if any, unless you open it up. Right now, 2D cases are non-existent. You cannot buy them. There might be a few trans shops running around that put a few extra on the shelves, but as far as Weddle is concerned, they are zero stock inventory right now. So if you break a main case, my friend Sean that just opened his own shop, Richie's Performance Gearboxes, just bought my last used 2D case from me. I was holding on to it for a customer that ever needed it, but Sean had been really good to me over the years, so I went ahead and let him buy it for what I paid for it. But this one, the case is reusable. That crack is in an area where it shouldn't be used, but if you have to use it, you can, because it's not going to spread as long as there's no failure. The other thing is there's still a lot of people buying Eboxes thinking that they're 2Ds. And you have to remember, if you've watched any of my videos, the main case on a 2D, they all say Mendiola MD4S, because the main case on an Ebox and a 2D or an MD4 are all the same. It's the gear carrier and the thickness of this flange that makes the difference. So it always hurts when you see somebody buy an Ebox and they want to put it behind any sort of horsepower, because you can't. The gears are thinner, the shafts are weaker, everything's smaller, and that type of stuff. But this is basically a buyer beware video, and I just want to let everybody know, let's be diligent. One of the things you can do is, if the person selling it is advertising that it just got done, there should be paperwork with the transaxle. There should be paperwork. I give paperwork out with every build that I do, detailed, straight down the line on every part, line item by line item. If somebody was to call me with the receipt that I had given out, and they said, "Hey, you know, this name, you did this transmission for this guy, and here's the serial number on it. Can you tell me what you did to it?" It'd take me a little while, but I could go in, look up the build, and say, "Okay, yeah, well, we changed first gear, but we put a used second, or left the used second gear in it, or whatever." And typically on my paperwork, if I do that, I list the transmission as compromised, or I list the transmission as used, no warranty, stuff like that. So just, you know, keep your eye out. I mean, really, it's hard not to have this happen to you unless you know what you're looking for. The sad part is he actually was smart enough to spin the input shaft, but he didn't feel this. He didn't notice it when he was spinning it by hand, and neither did I. So this is totally unfortunate, and this is going to be a very expensive repair now. But once again, we're at the end of the season. There's a lot of people switching out. I have at least one 2D for my customers that are going up for sale, and possibly a second one coming in that has a deco case I'm going to refresh and put up for sale. So when you buy them from somebody that you know really well, or don't pay them full price for it. All right? Ron with Sandcar Services, my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. See you out in the dunes.